If compounding is so powerful, why do most investors never actually experience it? You've heard the promise your entire life. Start early, stay consistent, let time do the heavy lifting, and somehow, quietly and magically, money multiplies itself. It sounds almost guaranteed, almost inevitable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The math is real, the results are not. Because if compounding truly worked the way it's advertised, the average long-term investor wouldn't feel stressed, behind, or constantly uncertain about their financial future. Yet most people do. And this is where it gets darker. The people who sell you the compounding dream, the platforms, the funds, the advisors, the brokers, they benefit the most when compounding doesn't work the way you expect. Not when you win, not when you break free, but when you stay invested, hopeful, and unaware. They don't actually need you to get rich. They just need you to believe that you will. And by the end of this video, you'll see the exact point where compounding quietly collapses in the real world, the moment it stops working the way you were promised, and why nobody warns you before you get there. This isn't theory, and it's not another motivational speech about patience or discipline. It's pattern recognition. It's looking at decades of market behavior, investor behavior, and outcomes, and noticing the same result repeating over and over again. I'm not here to sell you a system, a course, or a shortcut. I'm here to point out something hiding in plain sight that most people are never encouraged to look at too closely. And this matters especially if you've been doing everything right. If you've been investing for years, contributing consistently, trusting the process, and yet still feel like you're running in place, like the finish line keeps moving farther away, this will explain why. Not because you failed, and not because you didn't wait long enough, but because the game you're playing works very differently than you were told. So stay with me until the end, because there's one number, just one, that ultimately decides whether compounding quietly works in your favor or slowly dies without you even realizing it. You already know the story, because it's been repeated so often it feels like common sense. Start early. Invest consistently. Don't overthink it. Let time do the work. It's simple, clean, and comforting. You're shown smooth upward charts, gentle curves that slowly turn into steep lines, and the message is always the same. Be patient, and compounding will take care of the rest. The example usually sounds something like this. You invest $500 a month. Nothing crazy. You earn around 8% a year. Again, nothing aggressive. You do this for 30 years and suddenly, almost magically, you're a millionaire. No stress, no brilliance, just time and consistency. It feels achievable, responsible, almost guaranteed. But pause for a moment, because that story only works in a vacuum, and real life is not a vacuum. Real life has layoffs, recessions, panic, bad timing, medical bills, missed contributions, emotional decisions, and years where nothing goes according to plan. Real life doesn't move in smooth upward curves. It lurches, it shocks, it breaks rhythm, and here's the part every chart conveniently deletes. One of the biggest assumptions hiding inside that story is the idea of average returns. You see it everywhere. 8% a year, 10% a year. Long-term market averages stretch neatly across decades, as if the market politely delivers the same gift every single year. It sounds stable, predictable, safe, and that's exactly why it's marketed that way. But markets don't move in averages, they move in swings, big ones. And volatility is not a small detail, it's the silent force that quietly attacks compounding from the inside. Because compounding doesn't happen on an average. It happens on real numbers, in real years, in a real order. Imagine two investors. They invest the same amount of money for the same length of time and end up with the exact same average return on paper. Same average, same headline number. But one experiences strong gains early and losses later, while the other takes losses early and gains later. Mathematically, they look identical. In reality, their outcomes are completely different. One compounds on a growing base. The other spends years just trying to recover what was lost. This is where the story starts to crack. Because compounding doesn't care about averages. It cares about sequence. The order in which gains and losses arrive can determine whether your money accelerates or stalls for years. And most investors never realize this because averages hide the damage. But this is still not the biggest lie. The next belief sounds even more comforting. If you just wait long enough, everything works out. Time fixes everything. Markets recover, losses fade. All you have to do is stay invested and be patient. And on paper, that sounds true. Historically, markets do recover, eventually. But people don't live on paper. Crashes aren't just temporary dips on a chart. They happen in real life, alongside layoffs, fear, uncertainty, and pressure. Recessions don't arrive politely when you're emotionally prepared for them. They arrive when confidence is already fragile. And then there are lost decades, long stretches where markets go nowhere while years of your life quietly pass by. Time doesn't feel so helpful when progress stalls and doubt creeps in. This is where mathematical compounding collides with psychological compounding. Math assumes you invest perfectly, consistently, without fear, without interruption, for decades straight. Humans don't do that. People panic, sell near the bottom. They pause contributions when life gets tight. They slowly inflate their lifestyle as income rises, leaving less to invest even as they earn more. None of this shows up in the charts you're shown, but all of it shows up in real outcomes. Compounding assumes perfect behavior for decades. Humans don't behave perfectly for decades. And that gap between what the math assumes and how people actually act is where most compounding quietly breaks down. And now we reach the lie your broker profits from. Once you see this, everything starts to make sense. Brokers, funds, and investment platforms don't get paid based on how well you do. They get paid based on how much money you keep with them and how long it stays there. As long as your money doesn't leave, the system works exactly as designed. Even if your progress is slow, even if you're just barely moving forward. This is why the advice always sounds familiar. Think long-term. Stay invested. Don't touch it. On the surface, it feels smart and responsible. But there's a reason it's repeated so often. Long timelines reduce questions. Passive optimism keeps people calm. And calm investors don't move their money. That's good for business. Here's the simple truth. Compounding works best when you do nothing, and they charge you for doing nothing. Every year, small fees are taken out quietly. They don't feel painful. You barely notice them. But over time, those small fees add up. And while your money is trying to grow, those costs are slowly pulling it down in the opposite direction. The most dangerous part is that nothing ever feels wrong. Your account still exists. The balance still changes. You're told everything is normal. But instead of compounding working fully for you, a piece of it is constantly being skimmed away. Not all at once. Not enough to scare you. Just enough to matter. You don't lose suddenly. You lose slowly. And that's what makes it so deadly. This is where the real damage happens, and almost no one feels it while it's happening. Fees and inflation don't announce themselves as problems. They don't show up as crashes or headlines. They work quietly in the background, day after day, year after year, slowly draining the power of compounding. A small fee doesn't look dangerous. 1% here, 0.5% there. It feels harmless. But fees don't just reduce your money once, they compound against you. Every dollar taken in fees is a dollar that never gets the chance to grow again. Over long periods, that missing growth becomes enormous, not because the fee was large, but because it never stopped. Then there's inflation, the invisible tax no one escapes. Inflation quietly raises the cost of everything while your money fights just to keep up. Even when your investments go up, your purchasing power can go down. That's the part most people miss. Your account balance might be higher, but what that money can actually buy is shrinking. This is the difference between nominal returns and real returns. Nominal returns are what you see on paper. Real returns are what you feel in life. And the gap between them is where compounding gets quietly weakened. You're compounding forward, while fees and inflation compound backward. One is trying to help you, the other two are constantly pushing against you. And most people never realize how strong that resistance is until years have already passed. Most people don't fail at investing. They bleed out slowly. So is compounding fake? No. But you're using it wrong. This is the part most videos never get to, because it doesn't sound as exciting as the dream. Compounding does work, but only under very specific conditions. Not the ideal conditions shown in charts, but real ones that account for human behavior and real-world friction. Compounding works when volatility is controlled, not ignored. Big losses do more damage than most gains can fix, which means protecting downside matters more than chasing upside. It works when fees are minimized aggressively, not casually accepted. Every fraction of a percent matters because whatever you give up today can never compound for you tomorrow. It also works when behavior is engineered, not assumed. Most plans fail not because the math was wrong, but because they relied on perfect discipline for decades. Systems that survive real life account for fear, boredom, overconfidence, and stress. And above all, compounding works when capital protection comes first. You can't compound what you don't have, and recovery always takes more time than people expect. This is the shift that changes everything. Compounding is not a strategy. It's a byproduct of correct decisions repeated over time. When the foundation is solid, compounding happens naturally. When it isn't, no amount of patience can save it, which leads to the final truth nobody says out loud. Here's the truth that changes how you see everything. Compounding doesn't make you wealthy. Avoiding catastrophic mistakes does. The biggest gains in investing don't come from being brilliant or perfectly timed. They come from staying in the game long enough for good decisions to stack on top of each other. Wealth is built by survival, by making sure a single bad decision doesn't wipe out years of progress, by losing less than others during bad times, not by trying to win the most during good times, and by staying flexible, able to adapt when conditions change, instead of blindly following a plan that only works in theory. The people who end up ahead aren't the ones who chase the highest returns. They're the ones who avoided the biggest losses. They protected their capital, controlled their behavior, and gave themselves the chance to keep playing when others were forced out. And that's the biggest lie about compounding. It's not that time is the most important factor. Time only works if you're still standing. The biggest lie about compounding is that time is the most important factor. It isn't. Survival is. If this changed how you think about investing, share it with someone who's still waiting for compounding to save them. Not to scare them, but to give them a clearer lens before time quietly passes. And if you want fewer financial fairy tales, fewer comforting half-truths, and more uncomfortable truths that actually matter, subscribe. Because understanding how the game really works is the first step towards surviving it and eventually winning it.